you about somebody who is going to be telling you that they have been thinking about how things could go long term with the two of you. They've been daydreaming about living with you or getting married or starting a family. This is, I want to choose you. I want you to be my person. But I know. But this is somebody who's already underestimated the connection with you. This is somebody who's already kind of been dismissive or difficult. They didn't really want to be fully transparent about the feelings that they were feeling. In fact, they were probably trying to make some justification for walking away from you altogether. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Hello, Zats. What's up? If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. Also, thank you to those of you who have clicked on the link in my description box and checked out my candles on Etsy. Very excited about that. In case you're curious, this is what they look like. Aren't they cute? But also, and if you don't know about the dangers of like paraffin wax candles, you might want to at least look into it. That's what we're trying to avoid. Hello, Mary. How are you doing? Let's see what we've got. I think we will start with the Hocus Pocus Tarot. I wonder why I'm drawn to that one. Maybe we've got someone who's trying to manifest you. All right, what else do we have? 7 of Potions or 7 of Cups, and the 9 of Lightning or 9 of Swords. Whoops. Guess I made a mistake. I thought that the person that I was dealing with wasn't that important. I felt like I could replace that individual, or, I didn't really want to look at what life would be like without them. And now that I am actually dealing with it, I realize just how important you actually are. I realize that I probably should have made a little bit more effort. So Page of Candles or Page of Wands in the reverse. This is somebody who didn't measure twice and cut once. They cut you out of their life. They made a decision to be maybe a little bit proud, a little bit argumentative, and they felt like that was the right choice. Like, in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, I'm going to look back on that and I'm going to be like, yeah, I made the right choice. Only they were wrong. They're looking back on the situation and realizing that they underestimated just how much they wanted to be with you, just how much you brought to the table. So we have the 6 of Candles or 6 of Wands in the reverse. They're feeling like a failure. Ace of Wands in the reverse as well. They missed an opportunity with you because they were too quick to judge, or because they didn't really want to see that it was a good situation or that you had good intentions. Hello again, Lee. How we doing? Does my hubby know that just about done with him? Thank you for the tip, Lee. Let's see what we've got for you. I've added that. And if you can't tell, we're at about 4 minutes in. Hello, Mikey. How are you doing? Two of Pumpkins or 2 of Pentacles. Did you all have one of these pumpkins to fill with candy? I did. I think I might still have one of them. 2 of Pumpkins or 2 of Pentacles with the Hierophant tells me that now we have somebody who's weighed the pros and cons in a little bit more honest way and realized, oh no, I walked away from someone that I actually probably would be very happy with. Maybe I need to reconsider. Maybe I need to find a way to get close to that person again. It's like, can I get a do-over? Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? Hello. I don't know where to... Is it Parida? I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Hello, Chris. How are you doing? Judgment in the reverse. And the High Priestess. The concern that has stopped them from communicating with you is that they do feel like you are a very intuitive or perceptive individual. And I think they know that if they come back around, they have to be very convincing. They can't just say, you know, oops, my bad, I probably shouldn't have done that. Hebe, I really hope you find something more important to do with your life. I really do. Yes, a mulligan request. Yep. What else? Nine of Pumpkins or Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Temperance. Three of Potions. So I have to find a way to see you. I have to find a way to talk to you. It would be much better in person, and I could convince you that I know now that you're the person I want to be with. We make an excellent couple. Here are all the ways that we line up. But I'm telling you right now, this person's codependent. I don't care if this is somebody who is super financially independent. I don't care if this is somebody who is, you know, a little bit of a loner. There is some codependency here. It could be substance. It could be, I need someone to take care of this, or it turns out I really want to be in a relationship because then you would do that. Or maybe this is just somebody who struggles to have that companionship that they're looking for. But I feel like what they are identifying right now, it comes through more as like codependency than love. I haven't seen Ace of Cups. I haven't seen the Two of Cups. I haven't seen the Ten of Cups. This is like, why aren't you here? I wish I hadn't done that. Gosh, my life would be better if you were in it. Devil in the reverse, Page of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Fool. But you're over here like, no, that's okay. It turned out to be a pretty good thing that we separated, or that we aren't talking anymore, because you kind of made things more confusing, or you were taking up a lot of my time, or I was stressed out, and now I don't have to deal with that. Now I feel like whoever I'm reading for, you're able to focus on the new things in front of you, whether that's a new job, or maybe you just moved, or maybe you're planning to. Maybe you've even met someone new. But I feel like they know that you're not going to be malleable or easily convinced. They may even feel like you are pretty upset with them right now. Nine of Wands in the reverse, Knight of Cups in the reverse. I feel like there was a point at which you expected them to show up or to be a little bit more reasonable. And because they weren't, it showed you their true colors. And for you, that might have been enough to walk away. Hello, Mac. How are you doing? Hello, Jesse. What's up? So we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse and the Two of Wands. I don't know, man. This looks to me like you have met somebody new. Hello, Laura. How are you doing today? Oh, you're so sweet. And thank you for the tip. Will I meet a new love soon? I sure hope so. I've added that, and you'll be second on the list. And let's see, we're probably about 20 minutes away from that. Hello, Jesus. How are you doing? Hello, Brian. So look, the Eight of Swords in the reverse, the Two of Wands. I feel like you have now looked at the situation as that's how it should have happened. That's how it needed to happen, because this was somebody who wasn't willing to acknowledge the value that I brought or see me for who I really am. Maybe they were still trying to look for red flags when you had really proven that you were a trustworthy individual. So with this Two of Wands, I do feel like there's somebody else who has a lot of interest in you, and I think you're interested in them as well. For some of you, this is happening, you know, maybe in a week or two. But I do feel like there's a new person that you're flirting with when this person from your past decides to come back around. Thank you, Nat Nat. Finances. I've got that for you. So Ten of Swords in the reverse is a card that talks about recovery. And when it's paired with the Knight of Swords in the reverse, I feel like this is saying you were able to bounce back really quick. So even though maybe this person expected you to be quite miserable or to be really confused and kind of stuck, like I need some answers, I need some closure. Maybe they felt like they could kind of play these games because you were always somebody that wanted to know the details, and they felt like you would try to repair things because you were, you know, always invested in the resolution. Instead, what they found is that you took care of yourself. You decided, okay, if that's how things are gonna go, that's fine. I wish you the best. Deuces. I'm gonna go over here and meditate. I'm gonna go over here and do some yoga. I'm gonna go listen to my favorite song and dance in the kitchen while I make my favorite enchiladas. You know, like there's something here where it's like they didn't expect you to just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna work on this. They expected you to throw a little bit of a fit or be very sad. They expected you to try to over-invest or make up for the fact that they were not investing, and you were not willing to do that. If someone is not approaching you in a romantic connection as though they love you or as though you are a priority, I would venture to say there is nothing you can do to convince someone to make you a priority who has decided that you are not a priority. And unless you like the smell of desperation as a cologne, we don't do that here, right? This is somebody who I feel really expected you to be a little bit desperate about it. And you're like, me? Psh, nah. I'm too busy to be desperate. Hello, Zat. Thank you for the tip. Advice about new Gemini. Too good? I hope it's just the right amount of good. But I've added that for you. Hello, James. How are you doing? Hello, Unida. How's your day? We've got Seven of Swords in the reverse, following the Seven of Pentacles, by the way. So the number 7 could be pretty important. But this is someone who's realizing the truth of it is that when somebody makes a decision that they don't want to be investing or connecting with you like that, you aren't going to try to convince them to change their mind. You took that decision of theirs and accepted it readily. That confuses them. If you want to be a more confident, independent, and powerful person or empowered person, don't let situations like this put you in a headspace where you're obsessive or trying to convince people to love you. There are plenty of people out there that will love you. Now, when I say plenty, I might be referring to like 3 or 4 really awesome people. That's still a blessing. Doesn't need to be like 700 of them, okay? But this is somebody who didn't see or didn't want to see your value. And that it's like, well, why didn't you chase me? I thought that we had enough of a connection where you'd be like all bummed and sad and you'd want to like, I don't know, blow up my phone or text me a bunch and say, hey, what's the problem? Can't we fix this? Instead, you were like, yeah, I mean, if that's how you feel, I guess that's like how it is, right? I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my favorite things to do. If you're sitting here trying to manipulate me and you think like pushing me away is gonna work, like, it's just not an effective tactic that mature, like emotionally available people use, right? Hello, Javier, how are you doing? Thank you, Zats. This is the Santa Muerte deck. What else do we have? King of Swords, Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, Page of Swords in the reverse. I'm telling you, this person is codependent. Maybe it's I'm so interested in preserving my independence that I go too far with it. You know, there could be some people who get a little bit uncomfortable when someone wants to get close or wants to be in a relationship, so then they're just like shove you away. I mean, I would argue you're not ready for a relationship then, so like shove away. Like, I will leave. Thank you, Nida. Insight and advice on acquaintance who I confided to about my ex. On acquaintance I confided to or in about ex who had a weird judgmental attitude towards mine and others' coping mechanisms. Oh, that's not so great. Reacted judgy with coping. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some coping mechanisms really aren't that healthy, and maybe it's a good thing to be talking about these things with people that you trust. But if it's going to take a real judgmental tone, it's hard for that goal to be reached, right? If you're trying to get somebody to change that direction, judging them may not be the right approach. Hello, Sayir. How are you doing today? Hello, Ruben. Hello, Down. What's up? For nothing? I don't know. I got some pretty good moderators, but I hope you still feel welcome. Hello, is it Satara? How are you doing? Mikey, I tend to be a morning person, but it does vary. Hello, Nun. What's going on? So we've got the Magician and the Knight of Swords in the reverse. I think this is somebody who needs to be in a relationship because they feel like a little bit too alone right now, or they might feel like the other options that they had tried to pursue after things ended with you really laid bare for them the state of dating in 2026, right? The state of how their expectations were not necessarily being honored or were not truthfully disclosed, or they were just plain mean. So I feel like now we have somebody who's looking at this as, I need to say something, I need to do something quickly, I need to make sure that I confess some feelings and let this person know how important they are to me because I want that person in my life. But yet again, we still do not have any reference towards Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, Nine of Cups. What do we have? We have the Two of Pentacles. I will admit that this Two of Pentacles is the most romantic Two of Pentacles that I have. Two skeletons with butterfly looking at each other. That's cool. But I feel like this is someone who is saying, you'd make a great roommate. You know, we read the same kind of books, or we like the same TV shows, or you also don't like honey ham and you hate mushrooms. It's like, well, that's great and all, but like, do you have affection? Do you have physical attraction? Do you have an emotional bond with this person? Or are you just looking for someone that like you can watch Netflix with? I did not say Netflix and chill. This feels to me like not a very romantic love. And then we have the, oh, I did say we didn't even have the Nine of Cups, and now we have the Nine of Cups. Okay. Tell me about this Nine of Cups, because I don't want to give this person credit they don't deserve. Queen of Wands in the reverse. And the Five of Swords in the reverse. I've got to make amends with this person because I don't want somebody else to have them. So Queen of Wands in the reverse is jealousy, right? A little bit of insecurity. They're worried that they're going to end up with no one and you're going to end up in some happy relationship. And they figure, well, you know what? Like, maybe I should at least try to be in a relationship with you so that nobody else can be with you. I don't, like, are they trying to win a dating show or something? It feels like these motivations are all wrong. We've got the King of Pentacles in the reverse. This is not somebody who is going to offer a stable relationship or a reliable partnership. This is somebody who is going about things a bit blind and feeling like they can kind of like play the game or manipulate the situation, but they haven't learned their lesson. They haven't changed. I feel like they underestimated how important you are, And then when they learned that they do actually kind of miss you, they're still underestimating what this connection is. They're still looking at it as, well, at least you don't like irritate me, so like I like talking to you a little bit. Okay. But you say you want a future with this person? I don't know if this person understands love. Because now we have the Empress in the reverse, Ace of Swords in the reverse, Justice in the reverse. I think this is somebody who, like, love is not a language they speak. I don't think they had a great, loving childhood, I think, which is terrible. Like, everyone should have a good childhood. Makes such a difference in our world. But I do think this is someone who just really doesn't understand love. Pushes people away or doesn't want to be vulnerable around people, and then gets frustrated because, like, well, why did that person actually leave? Why isn't that person fighting for the connection that we have? Well, probably because you didn't actually ever show any kind of like vulnerability or interest in being, you know, an actual partner. It does sound like work. How about April? How are you doing? Yep, we're at 21 minutes. This is the Love Oracle. We have the Divine Masculine energy. Remember, we had the Empress in the reverse, so this would be someone who has difficulty with the loving or compassionate side, but let's keep in mind that we all have masculine and feminine energy within us, so this doesn't have to be a woman who doesn't know how to love. We also had this person come out as the King of Swords, right? But this is someone who's wondering, why is it that you're not chasing me? Why, when I pushed you away, did you not try to fix the problem? Why didn't you try to tell me everything was going to be okay or convince me to stay? I walked away and you were like, okay, fine, bye. They feel like you abandoned them. I don't know, man. It would be very difficult for me to like hear this person say this and not laugh at them. Because this is somebody who broke things off with you, underestimated how important you are, didn't make you feel like they actually wanted to be connected or love you. And they're mad that you didn't chase more of that toxic energy, so they're looking at it as you abandoned them. Okay. Man. So they're missing you. They're craving your energy, they're craving your attention. They're thinking it's, you know, been too long since I've seen you, and maybe you miss me too, and, you know, maybe we could like not wear clothes for a little while. Maybe they're okay with the physical intimacy. That might be a struggle for them as well. But I do feel like they're realizing that if they're going to have any kind of closeness with somebody in their life, it would be with somebody with your kind of character or disposition, and they ruined it. They said goodbye to you, but they still want to make it seem like you abandoned them. I'm sorry, you ordered the wrong thing, you know? Like, for those of you who've been a bartender or a server before, and you bring what was asked of you to the table, and then somebody's like, that's not what I ordered. It's like, hold on, let me get my body cam real quick, because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you said to me. This is somebody who literally asked for you to be gone, or ghosted you, or didn't want to have anything to do with you, felt like they were better off without you, overly independent perhaps, and now they're like, that's them, that's what they sound like, because you actually left. It's like if someone uninvites you from the party and then like gets upset because you didn't actually show up, or gets upset because you didn't send a wedding present. Like, you uninvited me. What are you talking about? That was the end of our obligation. The distance that happened as a result of this drove them crazy because they were that confident that you were going to pursue a second chance. They would have bet money on your trying to reconcile or find a way to move past the argument or the setback in your relationship. Instead, you were like, no, actually that makes sense, you know? We probably are not a good match. And they feel like maybe that's because you were hiding something. They wonder if maybe you're seeing someone else, or you were seeing someone else. They're going real negative with it, when the most basic answer is staring them in the face, which is, you told me you didn't want me, So I left. That's kind of like how I do things. I know some people don't. They're like, wait, want me. You should want me. Can I convince you to want me? But no, you didn't. You were like, okay. I guess I'll just like go get a burger and get over it. I don't know. Let me get a bacon cheeseburger. Hello, Nathaniel. How you doing? This is the Pro Tarot. What else do we have? Ace of Candles, or the Ace of Wands. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. So they're left in a little bit of misery here, a little bit of perhaps depression, definitely wanting, and not really certain that they could ever actually be in a relationship with you again or convince you to give them another chance, even though they feel like they've gotten a glimpse of what it would be like to be happy, and they pushed it away. They rejected it. So we have the Four of Paws, which is the Four of Pentacles. I felt irresistibly impressed with a presentiment of some vast good fortune impending. The thing is, when you walked away from this person, or when you like believed them that they didn't want you, you walk into a really happy chapter of your life. Maybe there's a little intermission, right? You go get yourself some popcorn and you hit up the bathroom, then you go back for the second act. But this is a new chapter, a change in your love life, possibly also impacting finances or living situation, where you're like, why would I go back to that? That just seems silly. And for many of you, you've also met somebody new, somebody who's not nervous to communicate their emotions. So you're like, nah, man, like I already made it way over here. Like looking back at that, no, thank you. If someone were to offer you a time traveling machine, but it would send you right back to like 9th grade, would you go back? I wouldn't. Look, there's some sentimentality, don't get me wrong. There's some nostalgia. I would love to have another Crystal Pepsi. Did that come back or something? Maybe some food that's no longer around. This is someone who's like, no. I have made progress. I've made changes, and I've also like met someone who knows how to own their feelings and pursue things in a mature way. Some of you haven't met that person yet, and some of you maybe even haven't fully walked away from this person. But I do think for the majority of you, you've been separated or distant from this person for at least a couple of weeks, and it's been enough time for them to realize you really aren't coming back. You're not interested in restarting something here, and it makes them nervous. Ace of Quills, or the Ace of Swords. If you wish to forget anything on the spot, make a note that this thing is to be remembered. Sometimes people make assumptions based on your past behavior and assume that you will never change. Sometimes we assume this person is going to change for me because I asked them to. And it can be a little bit foolish on both sides of that. But here we have somebody who I think they really felt like they could like place a bet and make a ton of money on, I'll start an argument and you'll come back to clean it up. You'll fix it. I know this with every inch of my soul because you have been kind, patient, and considerate. Sometimes patience run out, you know? Sometimes the Dr. Pepper's gone, you know? That's not like a personal problem I'm going through right now or anything with the snowstorm or not being able to drive, but like, I'm sorry. Don't get mad when you push someone away and they don't want to come back. It's like, if you go to the same coffee place every morning, I don't know what this is like because I don't drink coffee, but I have to imagine you develop some relationships with the gas station you go to or the little drive-through coffee place, right? Like, oh, hey, welcome back. Here's your Americano. Did I do it right? Is that what it's called? You're not going to be a jerk to them, right? They're preparing your beverage, like you're awakening to the world every day. You're probably going to be pretty nice to those people. I feel like this person treats their baristas better than they treated you. And then they were like, wait, why don't you want more mistreatment? Why don't you want to feel less special more? Golly, I don't know. They didn't treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. So now I feel like that's finally like kind of crashing in on them, where they're like, oh, maybe I could have had this really great relationship if I had been respectful or if I had communicated my affection. But instead, now I'm here on my own, daydreaming about what would happen if I actually had another conversation. I loved her with a love more fervent than I had believed it possible to feel for any denizen of Earth. Hindsight is 2020. Now this person knows that they love you. They didn't think it was possible to love someone the way that they love you. But apparently it like, you know, had delayed onset or something. I fall in love and then I wait like 2 or 3 months to figure out that I'm in love, just long enough for you to get like booted from my life. All right, I'm gonna pull just a couple cards from the situations deck and then we're gonna start on those personal questions. Hello, Oscar, how are you doing? Hello, HW, what's up? So we've got karmic third-party relationship lesson. I think you look at this person based on how they spoke to you as someone who doesn't really get it. Look, I'm a very talkative person. I could talk to anybody. I've made friends on airplanes, hotel bars. I can talk to anyone. But if I stop talking to you and I'm in an argument or, you know, we're in a relationship and I'm just like pulling back, like you, okay, like that, you're done. This is someone who was like, I don't even know why I'm talking to you about this. Like, I'm not going to try to change your mind. It's not my job to convince you to treat me with respect. You either do or you don't. And if you don't, then I'm leaving, right? So I feel like you picked up on how this person was talking to you and how they treated you, right? It's not always about what somebody says. Sometimes it's about their actions. Are they flaky? Are they reliable? Are they considerate? Do they ask you how your day is? If you tell them you have a headache on Tuesday, on Thursday, are they going to ask you if you're feeling better? Are they going to ask on Wednesday? Do they remember your birthday? Look, I'm not always good at that, okay? But I try. This is somebody who did not show you the love, right? And they're over here like wondering why you're not fighting for something that wasn't really that great. That's like asking me why I don't want to drive across town for a mediocre burger. I could just drive like 5 minutes and get something better. Why wouldn't I do that? This now is even more difficult for, what are we calling this person? King of Swords, I guess. I don't know. Is that giving them too much credit? They're kind of more of the Hermit in the reverse. Yeah, I don't know. The ex, they don't seem to understand that their inaction or their unwillingness to start a conversation to clarify what's going on or how they feel was the death knell. It was like the end of this connection. And now you've found genuine love. Now you've found somebody who really does want to connect with you and does want to be vulnerable and considers your feelings. That's, yes. Or clown, right? That would work too. So they're feeling trapped. They feel like they can't do anything because you found what they were unwilling to offer you. You've already got perhaps somebody that you want to be in a committed relationship with, and your willingness to agree that it was over with that person in the past is now looking like a pretty big mistake on their part. I should have fought for you instead of waiting for you to resolve the problem, or instead of waiting for you to fight for the relationship that you'd already been fighting for, right? All right, we're gonna start with the personal questions. We've got Lee and then Laura, Nat and then Zats and Unida. This is the Earth and Bones Tarot. Hello, Opal, how you doing? You're so welcome, Rachel. Yeah, sometimes when people don't value you, they help you to very clearly see how much you value yourself. Are you willing to put up with that treatment? Are you willing to question whether or not somebody's being honest with you or trustworthy? No, it's not fun. I don't like that. I think I'd rather clean floors. And I hate cleaning floors, okay, you guys? Like, I really hate it. I do it. Probably not as often as I should. All right, Does Lee's husband know that Lee is just about done? Suspicions, yes. 10 of Petals, 7 of Wicks, and the Queen of Petals. I feel like he's noticed there's something that has changed with regards to your finances, whether there's like a bank account that you share or how you set aside money, maybe setting up a new savings account. He's noticed there's something different with money or the home specifically. Knight of Swords. But he's operating off just like observation at this point. I'm not even sure I can say intuition because we have teacher in the reverse. I do think this is just, you know, something has changed, and the only reason that you would change that thing is because maybe you don't want to continue to live with me, or because maybe you don't want to continue to be with me. So it's like, yeah, I know things are rough, but I don't know if I'm going to ask about it. Is he scared? Yeah, he's scared to ask about it. 8 of Wands. He might be asking other people for advice or opinions. Huh. Knight of Wands. Does this mean he's thinking about doing something impulsive? No. This means he's angry. I feel like he's already starting to think about, like, how is this going to affect me? What problems am I going to potentially have? Do I need to find a different place to live? That kind of thing. But he's nervous to talk to you about it. All right. Good luck with that, Lee. Let's see what we've got for Laura. Will I meet a new love soon? And this is the Bianco Nera. You're welcome. Will Laura meet a new love soon? Soon might be a little bit generous, but I do feel like this feels to me more like the later part of the year, so maybe late summer. But we do have the Lovers card coming out, so you ain't gonna be lonely for too long. 3 of Wands. There's something that you need to do to usher in this chapter of your life. Who's the 5 of Swords? The Star, Ace of Wands in the reverse. This is saying there's something that you have not completed on your little checklist for healing and letting go of somebody from the past. So the 5 of Swords is you. And with the Star and Ace of Wands in the reverse, this is saying you have the power to do this thing or to change this thing. So is this about like forgiveness or releasing? Yeah. So there's someone from your past. Doesn't have to be an ex. But it very well could be. It could be someone from your family or even a best friend that no longer is a friend of yours. But there is somebody here that you need to let go of because this contributes to potentially sabotaging relationships or your ability to trust or feel trusted. Did y'all see that? Okay, I guess I'm a Butterfingers today. 6 of Cups in the reverse, 8 of Pentacles. This is someone who distracts you from what you really need to be doing. So it could be somebody that is on your mind quite frequently or somebody that you've kept in your life that you know you probably shouldn't. So maybe you're still talking to an ex, or maybe this is just like a really controlling family member or a friend who you can't trust. But this has to be dealt with before the soulmate or the love connection would work out. In other words, it could be that you meet this person, you still haven't dealt with this, and then that love falls apart. So there could be forgiveness that needs to happen. There could just be an argument that needs to be dealt with, and then we can move on. But there is something here that is blocking you from this happiness, and it has to do with your healing and holding on to something or someone. Hello, Shaya. How are you doing? Hello, Mert. What's up? I wish you luck on that, Laura. Like I said, I don't think you have terribly long to wait, but I do feel like it's probably the last half of this year. So let's get Nat's question. What does Nat Nat need to know regarding finances, please? What does Nat Nat need to know regarding finances, please? We have the Fool in the reverse and the Emperor with the Queen of Wands. So this feels to me like we've got some issue here in terms of someone who is trying to be seen as an expert, really doesn't know what they're talking about. Emperor, Queen of Wands. This is almost like saying you know better than what this person does. Moon in the reverse, Six of Pentacles. Okay, so this looks to me like someone who guides you to take the wrong step regarding business or payments, or this is the right program for you. It's like there's someone who gets a payoff if you do like an insurance policy instead of doing the thing that you should be doing, and they encourage you to do that. So look out for someone who's very self-interested as they give you advice or tell you what needs to be done. You might have to do your own research, look into what programs or what other people would recommend. I feel like, you know, you'd Google it and you're like, oh, well, this contradicts everything that person just said. You end up finding out that this person is really just advising you to do whatever makes them money or makes the problem go away the fastest, but not necessarily in the most effective way. So Nine of Swords in the reverse, you have the ability to prevent this. I feel like this would be a financial setback or like paying someone for something that doesn't actually get done. I ended up spending like probably $3,000 total trying to fix the air conditioning in my last car. And it was just like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore. No AC for you. I'm old. I think it was like 12 years old. Well, I mean, at that point, it was probably only like 9 years old. Sometimes it's just not going to work. So I feel like there's someone that you just can't take their advice as solid gold. You do have to do your own research, and it saves you money. And then we have the Five of Pentacles in the reverse with the Queen of Cups in the reverse. This person who's manipulating you is doing it because they're hard up for money. They're just going to sell whatever they can sell. Look, I used to be a salesperson, okay? And if you are a salesperson without integrity, you sell people what they don't need just so that you can get the money that you need in order to buy things that you probably also don't need. This is somebody who is thinking about themselves and not thinking about you. It could even be like, no, that's not really a problem. Plus, we close in 5 minutes. Okay, bye. Don't take their advice. All right, I feel like I really hit that one multiple times. But you got this, Nat Nat. All right, let's see what we've got for Zats. Ooh, let me make sure I haven't missed. Okay, good. Hello, Sayir, how we doing? Thank you for the tip. We've got love and relationships between two suitors. Female, initial L. And another female with the initial Y. We can look into both of those for you, Zaire. Which of the two? All right, I got you. For Zats, we've got what is the advice? Oh, you're so welcome, Nat. What is the advice on the new Gemini that Zats is connecting with? What is the advice on the new Gemini connection? Page of Cups in the reverse, Three of Pentacles in the reverse, Three of Swords, Page of Swords, Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Well, you know, Gemini, I suppose it has the capacity for duality, right? I feel like this is someone who has shown you the good stuff, and they are hiding a lot of not so good stuff. I do feel like there could be some mental health concerns here that prevent emotional connection or vulnerability. I do feel like this person has some issues regarding like connecting with other people. So this could be someone who doesn't get along with their coworkers. This could be somebody who's a bit of a loner. This could be somebody who has a habit of betraying their friends or their romantic partners. Ella, ooh, do I know how to say this right? Is it Pamela? I hope I said that right. I hope I did. Thank you for the tip. Tell me about Vinit's current feelings for me. Absolutely. I think you had maybe told me that it was Pramila, but I don't want to mix you up with someone else. Vineet's current feelings. Awesome. I've added that. Thank you for the tip. So Zaz, I don't know about this Gemini being super honest with you with the Three of Swords. It does kind of feel like this is someone who's either still heartbroken over a previous situation, so they're not doing very well as far as connecting or trusting new people. But I do feel like they are specifically withholding information regarding misfortune or a sense of kind of like being lost, just to show you like the best side of themselves. It's like, I don't want you to reject me. I don't want you to feel like I'm not good enough. I want to, you know, enjoy this flirtation, but they're not willing to show you who they really are. So we have the Seven of Wands in the reverse and Justice. I do feel like you're going to see a situation will come up and you'll be like, wow, okay, so you told me that you were like this, but then you did that. You know, like somebody who is bragging about being humble has been an example that I've used. You're going to see something that's contradictory. You explained that you do this or you're like that, and then why are your actions different? So I do feel like your intuition's going to kind of go into overdrive and realize, no, I think I got maybe some better options. All right, so we've got Unida up next. Let's get a different tarot deck. Oops. We'll go with the Tattoo Tarot. What is the insight or advice on the acquaintance that Unida confided in about an ex? What does Unida need to know on the acquaintance that kind of judged a little bit on these coping mechanisms? Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, King of Cups in the reverse, Three of Swords in the reverse, Five of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. This feels to me like it's just saying, like, basically this person's wrong. You know, when you go through and try genuinely to work on your growth, your development, and ability to recognize reality, you're going to run into some people who are very convinced that they are dealing with reality when they are not. So Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, King of Cups in the reverse. This feels to me like somebody who is a little bit self-important or a little bit more convinced than they should be, that they know the right things to do everything regarding emotions. But with the King of Cups in the reverse, I can tell you that this person has not done right by their own healing. So whatever judgments they got here, you know, throwing them out at you, trying to make you feel bad about it, like, I really just don't think it's a good idea to get all high and mighty. If we've got some attempt to heal or we've got some way to get through some difficult times and there's an opportunity to be supportive or like positive reinforcement, hey, we could do this instead. But it does look like this was somebody who was trying to start a fight, trying to make you kind of feel like that was the wrong way to deal with something. And I feel like it could be because we have somebody who's upset about something else. Is this like projection or frustration over something else? Yeah. This is someone who is, wow, the number 3 is important. So we had Three of Swords, Three of Wands, and the Three of Cups. This is someone who is frustrated over a third party. Is this like literally they're being cheated on? This person believes that they're being betrayed by someone at the moment. So I do think that this is someone who's a little bit like extra sensitive or, you know, maybe a little bit unreasonable in terms of how they perceive others and what your responsibility is, that kind of thing. Hello, Rob. Hello, Mr. Black Eyes. How are we doing? Hello, Antonio. How's your day? So we have the Fool in the reverse. This is someone who's being blinded by their own situation, feeling like they can overlay what works for them onto what you should be doing. But to that, I would just say, like, we all learn in different ways, you know? We all you know, some of us may be more visual, some of us may be more, like, I learn really well if I write things down. I can kind of commit it to memory. But if we were all the same, it would be a pretty boring world. So this is someone who needs to identify that maybe what works for them isn't what works for you, or maybe just kind of stick to their own situation, right? All right. Either way, I'm proud of you. Let's see what we've got for Sayur. What is the scoop on the relationship or the connection between Sayur and the female with the initial L? What does Sayur need to know about the relationship with the female with the initial L? Oh my. Wheel of Fortune, Judgment in the reverse, the Star, and the Nine of Wands. I'm a little bit concerned. I do feel like this is someone that you are meant to have crossed paths with. I do believe this is somebody who inspires you in some way to work on something, or, you know, adjust this or be more vulnerable or more open like this. But I will tell you right now, this person has layers and layers and layers of issues. I'm not here to like tell you that this person doesn't deserve compassion or anything like that, but I do feel like this is somebody who has specifically family issues that make it pretty impossible to connect in a meaningful way in a romantic relationship. Tell me more about the Star in the reverse. Four of Pentacles in the reverse, Queen of Cups, Two of Swords in the reverse. So I do feel like this is mother wounds or something in particular regarding a mother relationship being unhealthy or setting unrealistic or unhealthy expectations around relationships or self-value, perhaps self-worth. So with the Two of Swords in the reverse, either we have like a very controlling mother, or it's like your female initial L has mom's thoughts in her brain all the time, like, oh, I shouldn't do that. So we have somebody who's not very self-sure. I'm not going to make a decision because, ooh, I might get judged by this person, or I know that this. So even if it's what I want, I will second guess myself. And you deserve somebody who's going to be a little bit more independent in those choices. And what about the relationship or connection with the female with the initial Y at the start? Knight of Swords in the reverse, Devil, Four of Wands in the reverse, Eight of Wands, Five of Cups in the reverse. Is this obsession? There's someone else that initial Y is talking to. There's competition here, and I do feel like this is an ex with the Six of Cups. There's someone that has been, like, they've known Y for a while. A while. I don't feel like this person can be trusted. So are they, like, actively seeing this person? I feel like it's communications, like text messages, phone calls, or voice notes. Six of Pentacles in the reverse, Knight of Cups in the reverse. There's something that has blocked these two, but they still... The way I'm saying it is like if you try to cut your piece of pie or pizza and it's still like hanging by a thread of cheese. They got a cheesy thread. So I don't feel like this person is capable of giving you the attention that you deserve because there's an obsessive tendency with someone from their past. So I think they're obsessed with each other. Is this going to be something that Sayur can confirm or validate in the near future? Yes, the Sun talks about enlightenment. You're going to see something or hear something or just the way that this person treats you, it's going to make it clear that there's probably another person that they are talking to. I'm just going to do an assumptive question for you this year. Is there someone else out there for Sire that can be trusted? Yes, an Empress. Somebody who knows how to love, somebody who knows how to communicate, and the Ten of Cups. So while I can't tell you that one or the other of these two is a good choice, I can tell you there's a third choice, and you don't realize how awesome they are yet. Oh, your broken heart will heal. Don't you worry. This person wants to love on you. This Empress. All right. Let's see what we've got for Pramalad. Let's get the Noisy Tarot. And we've got, what are Vinit's current feelings for Pramalad? What are Vinit's current feelings, please? Ooh. Page of Wands, Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, King of Pentacles and King of Wands in the reverse. This is someone who wants a long-term connection or like a romance of a lifetime, but doesn't want to do all the work or is nervous that at some point they would like mess it up. So is this a lack of commitment energy? No. This is someone who would like to be loyal to you. What are the obstacles then? Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, Ten of Swords. Is this Queen of Swords, Vinit? Yes. So Vinit has some resistance here, or maybe even like a lack of confidence and ability to be in a long-term relationship. But this is like, I don't know, I want to make a love offer, but I feel like it's just always going to end negatively anyways. This person might be a little bit pessimistic. Is Pramalad the person on Vinit's mind most often? I feel like Vinit is distracted, not by another person. I feel like this is, I've got things that I need to do. I need to fix this on my house, or I need to get a new car, or I need to fix this problem with my boss. There's something here that's been very stressful, and it's preventing the like romantic energy from taking root. Will this change? Not in the near future. This is a pretty significant issue. Could be with family, could be with work. But I do feel like at a certain point down the line, maybe 5 weeks from now-ish, this person's going to be like, okay, can we like reconnect? And it's about whether or not that timeline works for you. Is there someone else interested? Is there someone else interested in you? So if Vinit takes too long, you might be a little bit like tempted in a different direction. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. And thank you for hyping if you're able to. And thank you for checking out my candles if you're able to do that as well. I will see you in the next reading. Toodles.